2023, Ghana imported $152 million worth of tea. This goes to show how huge the demand here is in Ghana. But what role are local producers playing when it comes to meeting this demand? Today on Food Chain, we'll be speaking to the founder and CEO of NutriHealth Food and Beverages Limited, Dr. Boahima. Welcome to Food Chain.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
All right, first, tell us about how this journey started.
All right, this journey started in 2020 during the COVID. I've always loved teas, and I've always believed in the nutritional value of the herbs and spices that we have in Africa. And like I always say, tea has been a part of our culture. It's only that we used to brew it in pots, and then give it to our children. So during COVID, when everything was on lockdown, it gave me time to explore this side as a business. Okay. So I put some herbs together. I knew the value and the potency of what it could do for people in a lockdown. Build immunity, help them to keep down their body fat and all of that. So that birthed the hibiscus teas. And I put it together and started to sell during the COVID. And what did it for me when I knew it could be a business was when I started to get the reorders. Even after COVID, people still asked for the tea. And so I said, well, this must be something good. Let me push it and build a business out of it. It's been good. I mean, it's been very organic in terms of growth. No major advertisement, but it's been word of mouth and somebody telling somebody and somebody drinking and calling us. And, you know, from a seed capital of less than 500 Ghana cedis, first year sale revenue was less than 50,000. But we are over $1 million in sales in a year. Annual sales. So I think it's been a good organic growth. It's now time to scale, and we are at that point.
Well, you tell us about the types of teas that you produce.
Okay, all our teas at this point are hibiscus based, but we have different variants for different things. So we have about 10 variants, and it's a function of not just taste, but what the spice or the herb does for the body. Hibiscus is very good. The red color you see is all antioxidants, and so it's very good for building immunity, allowing your blood to flow properly. Antioxidants oxidate your blood, so it clears all the free radicals that will give you diseases and so on. So it's a good base. Added to that, it's very tart, and the taste is good, very easy to drink with or without sweetness. So it allows for us to blend with other things that would have been a little more difficult to drink by themselves. For example, Percocet. Percocet is very medicinal, would lower your blood pressure and keep it stable, but drinking by itself is not easy. So our parents would put it in soup, for example, palm nut soup, so that, because it has a very strong smell and all of that. But when you add to the hibiscus, it's very easy to drink. And so for the medicinal value of Percocet, we have hibiscus and Percocet tea. Then we have moringa, and we have pineapple. Some people would want the flavor, the vitamins in the fruity flavor, but also the vitamins in pineapple is very good for flus and all of that. Then we have orange. Then we have senna, which is a laxative. It's a natural laxative, so it allows you to clear all the extra fats and the pot belly that you don't want. You know, after the fufu, instead of drinking cold water, you can have the hibiscus senna, and it will clear all the excess. So we have the roots as well. And then, so you know, we have about 10 variants. The most popular of the variants is the ginger and the Percocet. And then you have cinnamon. Cinnamon is very good for sugar control. So those that are diabetic, trying to control and all that. Our products are not just teas, they are medicinal. So it's medicine that is easy to drink, that is natural, 100% natural, that you can drink. Everybody. Very good for cramps, for women that are dealing with menstrual cramps, for women in their 50s that are dealing with menopausal issues, because hibiscus is full of estrogen. So it's very good for all these female issues and then male issues and all of that. So that's what we've done. 10 variants, but we are moving on to other bases. We are moving on to black teas very soon, which we are launching this year.
Right. Tell us about how you source your ingredients. Are they from like local farmers or?
Yes, we source 80% of our ingredients from local sources. So unfortunately, we don't grow hibiscus in commercial quantities in Ghana.
Yeah.
So we bring them in from Burkina Faso, we bring them in from northern Nigeria, but we are in talks with some farmers to cultivate for us.
Right.
But all the other ingredients we get from here. We get our ginger, our lemongrass, our moringa, our orange, pineapple. We source all of them from here. We go to the farm front. Sometimes we deal with a lot of women farmers, so we buy from them. We make sure that we are getting the best fruits because we want the best output and quality. We are also very interested in products that are not grown with too much pesticides, and because we want to control the toxicity of our products. A few of the spices we also bring in, we buy from importers because we don't grow them in Ghana, but 80% of our materials are sourced right here fresh. We go and buy every week. Right. Because we want the freshness.
Right. Tell us a little about production process. You mentioned there are different variants. Yes. Do the processes differ as well?
Bottom line, processes are almost the same. Okay. We would get the products from the farm front. We have other women that will, some of them have to be a little dry, so they would dry them a bit. And then we bring them in here. When they come in, we would sort it out. I mean, we sit and actually remove every impediment or contaminant from it. What we can do with our eyes and our hands, we do that. And then from that, we go on to the chlorination processes to remove all the other chemicals that we don't need in the product. And then it goes to a drying stage. So we actually put them in dryers that have been calibrated for that purpose. So it maintains the freshness, but it takes out all the extra water because it's a dry product and it has to stay for a long time. So after drying, we take them into the processing room where some of them we have to grind a little with a pestle and mortar to break it down a bit. Like Peke said, it's very hard. You can put them in machines right away. And then we take them into blenders and blend some of them into different consistencies, because we have some in loose tea, and that you would have to take and brew. It's in bigger particles. You have to brew and then drink. And then we have them in tea bags. And for tea bags, they have to be a lot more finer. So depending on which product we are doing, we blend to that consistency, and then we fill our machines. Our machines are not fully automated. At this point, they are semi. We would have to manually fill them with the product, and then it packs into the tea bags, and then we manually pack them in foils, and then in the packaging that we are gunning for, and then it's out. We are done. We put them there ready for the markets.
Right. A key way to make sure that your customers come back is to maintain their quality. How consistent are you when it comes to?
We are very, very, very methodical with our quality. I mean, one thing we want to do, if you bought our teas 4 years ago, if you buy it today, there should be no difference. And so we have very strict standard operating processes that are well documented. So even if I took you in today, in 3 days, you could be formulating, because everything is documented in the right quantities. So whatever product that we take, there's a scale. We measure the different quantities before we combine and then fill the machine. And then after, we keep a sample of every batch, so that once any feedback comes, we know which batch it is, and we can quickly see and rectify whatever the challenges are. But we make sure that every product has the same consistency, because we are measuring, and that's a challenge for a lot of local businesses, the standardization. But we work with Ghana Standards Authority to ensure that they come do our training, they monitor what we are doing to ensure that we are keeping the standards and the consistency of our products.
Right. Do you have, as a business, most businesses have challenges and may differ, but in the tea industry, what major challenge are you facing?
Well, I mean, it's the same challenges across board that everybody else faces when doing business in Ghana. Maybe not just Ghana, even in other places. First and foremost for me is the human resource. it's challenging. I mean, you would have to, work with people with certain attitudes that you need to fine tune over time. But I think that has been my major challenge. The second is convincing people that this product is good for them. I mean, typically people consider tea as a breakfast item, as a beverage. So I'm going to buy Lipton or any of those products and drink. And so this would fall in the same category. But we are very different. I mean, we are not just selling you a beverage. We are selling you health. And so we have to constantly engage and let people know that you are not just buying something that is a luxury. You are buying a need. And so everybody that buys understands that I'm not just buying tea because I want to fill my stomach, but I am buying tea because I want to be well. I want to lower my pressure. I want to be healthy. I want to control my diabetes, or I want to be able to sleep. Mint helps people to sleep. It relaxes you. So after a hard day's work, you take a cup of our hibiscus and mint, you can sleep well. So communicating all this for people to move from, oh, why can't I just buy an ordinary tea and drink, to buying this. But I think everybody, once they understand what it's doing for them in terms of their health, it has been quite okay. I think the third thing for me would, of course, everybody faces the challenge of funding. It's not very easy to raise capital as a startup, and understandably so. The banks are very protective of their funds. We've had very few angel investors around. We don't have any venture capital fund that is supporting businesses, so it's a struggle. So we have had to bootstrap along the way, work with people, family, friends, put in money, but as it's growing, we know once our books are in good order and we can show the viability of the business, we'll be able to get some support from the funding institutions. So I think it looks good.
Well, how do you deal with the sensitivity parts, allergies? How do you advise people when it comes to your tea and the things to do?
We do write the contraindications on the pack. Hibiscus, for example, is not very good for pregnant women because of the estrogen. So we put it there that it's not good for lactating mothers and so on. We've also listed the ingredients. FDA will require that you do that. So if you're allergic to any of the herbs or spices in there, then you don't take them. But otherwise, I mean, generally, because we use natural products, there are zero additives, zero coloring, nothing, no chemical. All our products are 100% natural. I can tell you for a fact that 80% of teas that are imported into Ghana, they are not natural teas. They are flavored teas. So if you went to buy cinnamon, ginger tea off the market, 8-9 out of 10 it will be ginger flavored tea or cinnamon flavored tea, and those are chemicals. It's not food. But we put in the natural product, and a lot more people, our bodies are tuned into things that are natural. So you have very few people that have allergies or things that repel natural hibiscus or ginger or any of those. But we do indicate the ingredients that are in there, so that if somebody is allergic, then they don't take it at all.
Convincing people to adapt to herbal and natural tea, how has it been for you?
I think it's been good. I mean, to be very, very honest, I mean, we were not even expecting this kind of acceptance. The good thing is, once somebody takes it, they always come back, or they recommend it to somebody else, because it's not just the product. We put a lot of thought into also the packaging. So somebody takes it and they're very happy. I mean, if you want to check the excellence of something, whether something is quality, the first thing you see is the packaging. So once they see the packaging, they are almost convinced that this is going to be a good product, and psychologically they expect a good product. And then they drink the tea and realize that this is natural. I mean, I'm actually tasting real cinnamon, or I'm tasting real ginger. And on top of that, we get a lot of feedback on health. I took it and all of a sudden I'm feeling much better. I have a flu, I took the ginger and it's really gone down. And so that also speaks for us. So we have a lot of referrals. Okay, the packaging brings in the corporate clients, because then they can brand it for their customers and all of that, and then the quality of the product brings in the referral clients. So the acceptability has been good. We have to get to a point where we scale and take this to the rest of Ghana before we even think of Africa.
Okay. So currently you are producing only for Ghana?
We do get orders from outside of Ghana, but it's not on a formal basis. So we have people from all over the world, the UK, the US. We are in the Gepa shop in Kenya. We are on some of the online shops in the US, in Canada. So we do get that. But the plan is to actually commercialize, you know, and extend the product to the rest of Africa and the rest of the world over time.
How do you handle customer feedback? Not every time. People have diverse views. So how do you handle both positive and negative feedback?
Interesting you ask, because we get all sorts. I mean, sometimes you're even wondering, is it our tea that this person took? You know, but what we have a mantra in this company: we don't argue with a client. Whatever the client says, we accept. We are very quick to give you complimentary products if you were not happy with what you got. Let me tell you something interesting. I have a client who called me and said, oh, but your tea is not brewing well enough, it's not reddish enough. I said, really? What did you do? He says, oh, I drank it the first time, then I poured more water on it. I drank it the second, and then I poured more water. I said, oh, brah, after 3 times, you are not expecting the thing to be red. You know, but we do receive all of that. Sometimes it's the material that is not filtering well, and then we would amend it. We'll look at the batch number and see whether we've changed packaging, and then go back. Some people will call you and say there's too much pepper or ginger in the ginger. Unfortunately, that is the consistency that over time people have wanted. So if you want something different, we can always customize for you. Let me also quickly add, we also white label for other companies, and that is where we are going. I mean, we have people coming with their own unique blends, and we will pack it for them. Or they come in, we're doing something tiger berry something, we will pack it for you. So we also customize for people that say, oh, there's too much ginger, I want you to reduce it. That's the beauty of the production being here. If it's significant enough, we will customize the order for you. But generally, we take the feedback. The good ones, we are very happy, and we want to continue to deliver the good product. The not so good ones, we also take it. Our challenge has been the marketing as well, because we don't have a huge capital. You cannot leave the product in the shops for too long, because it takes up all your capital. So people are complaining, we can't find it. It's not close enough, you know, but all that requires a lot of capital to be able to stock in all these places, but we are getting there. Our online shop is very active, so in the absence of the shops, we do a lot of our sales online.
You mentioned the fact that you want to expand, and a major part of that would be the funding. Besides that, what kind of impediment do you foresee? How can people support?
The impediment I foresee is the back end, going into the actual farming production, because if you want to export, it's stricter in terms of the standards. So until you are growing your own hibiscus, sometimes it's almost impossible to control the GAP practices and what they are using to grow, because you are buying from the market, you know. So as we expand to other markets which have much stricter food regulations, we will necessarily have to find money, and the plan is to get into a cooperative with a women's group up north, because the product does well in the north, and then we facilitate, provide the seedlings, provide everything they need, and they farm the hibiscus for us, which is a core ingredient that we are using. So that's a major challenge we foresee. The other is that some of the additives are also not grown in commercial quantities here. So Percocet, for example, is not farmed. So as we grow, the fear for us is, if we become huge, where are we going to source this from? Because Percocet grows only in West Africa, a few countries in West Africa. So necessarily the product will not be a very commercial, even though the demand will be very high.
Well, it's been a few years, and the business has been good. And then like I mentioned earlier, to Ghana, we import a huge amount of tea into the country.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what do you think we can do, both individuals, private sector, government, to increase production here to meet the demand that we have?
Yeah, that's what we are aiming to do. That our company is not just going to produce teas for us, because some of the things they are importing in, we are growing here. Ginger tea, we are growing ginger here, and that would then generate more work, because then we can resource farmers more and produce. You know, the major challenge has been the packaging. We hope that as we go along, because some packaging firms are springing up, that is improving our access to. We used to bring in these yellow packaging. Now we produce them here. We got somebody. Initial stages, the quality was not what we wanted, but we continue to work at it and work at it and work at it, and now it's finer. So that is what we need to do. I mean, sometimes it won't be as flawless as if we had imported it, but over time they get better. They just need to be given more work, and so we are hoping that other people will also go into the packaging space, so that we don't have to import every packaging that we need into the country. But aside that, I think one way to ensure that we are not importing as much tea, which is mostly additives, which is counterproductive for our health, is to get these machines in and then reach out to the people that are importing to say, we can white label for you here. You don't need to go to China. We don't need to go to another country to do this. And that's the goal of our company.
Yeah. How has competition been for you over the years?
Oh, I honestly don't see competition. I think we set the pace and everybody else follows. Yes, I've had a few people try to copy what we are doing, which is fine. It's a big market. If the sky is big, we can all fit in perfectly. But what we do is constant innovation. I mean, thankfully, my study area, my PhD is in innovation. So constantly I'm on my feet thinking, what can we do differently? What can we do next? Which variants can we add on? How do we differentiate our product from everybody else? But I think competition is good. It puts you on your toes. It allows you to, if everybody said they wanted to buy from only us, we cannot meet production. So we welcome everybody, competitors into, but it's getting more interesting now. After we started, we have started to see more people going into different teas, even ones that we are not doing yet. I mean, different, like I said, turkey berry, for example, it was in the tea, but now people have put them in tea bags, and people are, so the creativity is being enhanced, and we are putting a lot more of our products into forms that people can drink easily, and I think it's good for us. So competition is there, but we will continue to set the pace.
How has marketing been like? People are embracing social media now. What are your plans to improve your presence in the Ghanaian market?
We are using social media quite a bit. We are not there yet. And I have a small team together, a team of our 3 young people that are trying to get us into the social media space. But I'm old, so I'm struggling with all the TikToks and things that I'm not on, but I think it's a huge potential. I mean, before the advent of social media, I mean, we would have to pay through your teeth to be able to place your ads on TV and all. But now with social media, YouTube and all of that, we are able to get some advertising without paying so much. So I think it has helped, and we will continue to push. I'm looking forward to a day where we have 1 million followers, following our page and buying our products, because I think there's a lot of potential. And if we can grow this, we can employ more people, because we definitely do need a lot of people to be able to work. And so I think social media is good, and we will keep at it. Maybe if you can recommend some specialist, some guru for me that will turn this, but I've been a little hesitant in pushing too much, because it has to come with your machines, your equipment. Otherwise it becomes counterproductive. You have people asking and then you don't have the product. So the focus has been to get our base right, to get our machines in, to get our packaging sorted, all of that. Then once you are out there and people are asking for the products, it's available for them. So we love social media, and I think we'll push a lot more on social media.
Yeah. For the machines, you acquired them here in Ghana?
We tried, but we haven't had a very good experience with the ones we fabricated here. So we would unfortunately have to look out again and get machines in from outside of Ghana. Yes, but I'm sure if somebody is watching us and they are very good at fabricating these machines, we would love to explore again.
I think for Ghana brings out a lot of graduates each year, which people are advised to go into entrepreneurship, set up their own small business startups. What, as NutriHealth, what has been your role in helping to reduce some of these numbers that we bring out every year?
Okay, we can't employ too many of them, of course, but what I do is I run a mentoring program for young people to help groom more entrepreneurs. So that for us is our contribution. Once we get them on board, we guide them through the process. We encourage them. Sometimes we put in a little investment for them to run their own startups. We're encouraging them to also go into some of these, the farming of some of these products, developing the packaging and all of that. So as our little contribution. But I think Ghana, we need a lot more of these young people to go into the space, because there's still so much that can be done. And so on our part, we help to mentor a few of them so that they can also start their own businesses and learn from our mistakes and not repeat the mistakes we have made.
But as a business, what has been your strategy to ensure continuous growth? Because many businesses start and then they fail. So mainly due to funding, which you've mentioned is a challenge as well. But beyond that, what has been your strategy to ensure that you keep going? Okay,
I think funding is just a small component of why the business is fail. I'm actually doing a book on startup failures. Maybe when it's done, I'll let you interview me again. But the feedback and the research is interesting. So many things that go wrong. I mean, sometimes as little as what went into your market research. You know, not a good idea is not good business necessarily. So people start out and then they suddenly realize that there's really no market for whatever they are trying to push. So it's a lot of things. And for me, it's very crucial that before you step out, you go through the mill to be able to come up with something that is scalable, something that has potential to grow, something that is okay for its time and its season and all of that. So as NutriHealth, we are growing. Our goal is to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange by 2027. So we are working towards that, and that would allow us to scale reasonably and create more opportunities for everybody. So we've been speaking to the CEO and founder of NutriHealth Food and Beverages, Dr. Boahima Intim, and she's been sharing with us the impactful journey that they've been through and their contribution towards Ghana's tea industry. This has been Food Chain with me, Jessie Eyramagbakum. See you on another episode.